Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to get through this Pink Floyd. Electric guitars on that album, and it's a mighty fine one, but I'm here to tell you there's something else. The movie world. A list of never-ending movies. You can never hear the soundtracks, day or night. So when you load up that app of podcasting thrills, you know the one, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you might be that one guy who listens to the show on an Xbox. Instead of asking how much of your time's left, ask him, how does this movie sync with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon? Because in this life, things are much harder than the afterworld. But in this life, you're not on your own. Because I'm Gareth Blackler, and my co-host is James Barron. Welcome to Sync Floyd. Hello, James.
Woo! Wow. I just wanted, crowd noise to be playing in behind that. Holy shit, that was a good intro.
Oh,
hey, man, how's it going? It's James, the prince to your pauper, or vice versa. We'll find out. I don't know. How's it going? I can't match that intro, but damn, dude. Welcome. Welcome to the show, everyone. And shout-outs to you, Xbox guy. That rules.
Yeah. I scrolled to, you can see how people are listening. I scrolled to the very bottom, and there's, unknown, which is a huge percentage, and then just above that, Xbox.
Hell yeah. Shout-outs to unknown Xbox user. Get at us.
Yeah.
Listening to the boys while you game. You're clocking in the hours in Call of Duty. Love it to bits.
I was thinking, I know on the original Xbox you could load up a CD and then listen to it in your car in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, you steal a car in Grand Theft Auto and then you change the station and it's just your podcasts and you can just listen to us be like, oh yeah, you've got mail's pretty problematic.
Pretty good,
while you're,
but
murdering
pretty
people.
weird. Oh, man. I would love that. I hope we're just hardwired into the game, kind of. We're just an extra radio station.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what's the secret track hidden in there between two other radio stations? Oh my gosh.
You gotta, tune it just right.
Yeah.
But speaking of Grand Theft Auto, which is a game by Rockstar Games, we've synced a movie about a rock star. We're talking Purple Rain, 1984.
Yeah.
James, what is your relationship with this movie?
Mate, not strong, but I love it. This movie rules. I love Prince. I love that man. He's a great artist in my life. One of the greatest guitarists of all time, bar none. If anyone says any different, I will fight you in the streets. Come on. He's amazing.
Yeah.
This movie rips. I saw it a long time ago. It is a lot of fun, and we're going to see how it syncs with the Floyd. Gareth, what about you? What's your relationship?
So this movie was how I discovered Prince initially, which I would not recommend. I don't think this is a very good introduction, mainly because the two people I know who this was their intro to Prince now don't like Prince.
Oh, no.
Two people I've shown this movie to don't like Prince anymore. But I love this album. This album is probably easily in my top 10 albums of all time. I listen to it once a week. Purple Rain is a masterpiece. I think it's an album it's a lot like Dark Side of the Moon, and they're I think anyone can enjoy it. Anyone can put something on and find something for themselves.
Yeah, I'd hard agree with that. It's very much in the same kind of wheelhouse in that this is the classic referred to Prince album, I would say. And very much so, for Dark Side of the Moon and Pink Floyd, that tracks as well. So, yeah, I don't listen to this album very often. I mostly just jam out to Purple Rain, the song. But, But yeah, fair play to you on that one. My intro to Prince was the song Little Red Corvette, which I think is just such a banger, by the way. Check that one out.
That song was how he got to make this movie. That song was doing so well that he had enough leverage. He was starting to sell bigger venues and stuff. He had enough leverage to go to Warner Bros. And be like, I'm not giving you another album unless you give me a movie to star in.
Holy shit. The power move. The balls of this man. Holy God.
Right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he got to make this almost 2-hour epic of his own design for an album, and that album went on to be like one of his best-selling ever, and like yeah, incredible.
This movie also, I think, made 10 times its budget back.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Man.
And gave him enough leverage to start directing his own films for his albums. Have you seen any of Prince's other films, James?
I have not, but I would love to. I'm sure we'll get to them at some stage on the show, but that sounds wonderful. I only found out on this watch that there's a direct sequel to this movie.
Yes.
Which I fully didn't know existed. But man, like if it's the same characters and everything, I'd love to see where this goes. But yeah,
the only through line between the three movies is Prince loved Jerome from The Time enough that Jerome plays his best friend in the next one.
Hell yeah.
And then Morris is in the third one as well.
Yeah.
But Jerome's coming back.
Damn. I also love Jerome, so that's totally fair. That's hysterical.
We talk about like how sometimes you're watching this movie because it's such a strange experience, mute, especially in a movie like this.
Oh, yeah.
To be mute with Pink Floyd playing over it. And sometimes it just makes a different character pop. And this was Jerome's play. Like Jerome, so into this. I think he just his job is to make a musician look cool. That's why he's in the band The Time.
Yeah.
And he just decided he heard Pink Floyd were playing and he's like, well, make them look cool. And by extension, made himself look cool. So shout out to you, Jerome. Shout out to Jerome,
wherever you may be. I hope you're still out there doing your thing, providing the service to the music industry.
Incredible. My favorite Jerome fact, other than the fact that Prince loved him that much, because Prince stopped speaking to Morris Day after this movie for a long stretch, but he still loved Jerome. If you don't know who Jerome is the dancer in the band The Time, which were a band Prince wrote a lot of the songs for. And his job is essentially he brings out a mirror for the singer to look at. And in this movie, he just kind of does what the singer tells him.
Yeah.
But my favorite Jerome fact is they were on tour with Prince and another band that I'm blanking on the name of. The bassist of that band didn't show up for a show, so Jerome just mimed the bass while Prince was backstage playing the actual bass lines.
What? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's some blues traveler shit happening. That's fantastic. Oh my god. Just the faux bass player. Man, Jerome can do it all. What can't this guy do? I want him in my band.
Oh, Sam. I think that's my only shot now of being in a band, is if a band needs a Jerome.
Yeah, man. I can carry a mirror for a good portion of the show. I can dance and sync kind of to you guys. It'll be fine. Whether or not I can provide any artistic ability is up for debate, but I sure will help you with your artistic endeavors.
Should we start a band that's just the two Jeromes and we just get up on stage and start holding mirrors up to each other for 40 minutes?
We just play a CD in the background and just start dancing, both holding enormous mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the audience are like, what? And then we just start showing themselves in the mirror, dancing in the audience. Man,
yeah, they say great art shows a mirror to society, so we're right there.
Yeah, we're definitely doing that. Oh my god. Yeah, I'd love that. Also, can we just call it the two Jeromes?
Yes, absolutely.
That's very good. Okay. On that note, shall we talk about how the film's synced up? Eh?
Yes, let's definitely do that.
Because there's so much to cover.
Yeah. We're probably going to encounter a lot of Prince songs that we're not hearing in this play, but I would still love to talk about them and get your opinions.
Oh, totally.
So,
I'm going to bring them up when they kick in most of the time, unless I've skipped them in my notes, but unlikely.
Good.
Yes.
The one Prince Pink Floyd connection is after Prince passed away, David Gilmour, former lead singer of Pink Floyd, played a solo show, and he did a mashup of Purple Rain and Comfortably Numb, which seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then someone on the Prince forums, which are an ancient-looking forum, said, I think Prince would have liked Pink Floyd, and then his reasoning was, I was listening to Pink Floyd and thought, Prince might like this. And all the comments were like, why did you say this?
Wonderful. Oh, what a stellar take. That's the same kind of level of commentary that we provide.
It is, sadly. Yeah.
Oh man, I bet he would have liked this. He would have liked this show, Gareth.
He would have. Prince liked some weird stuff. Like, he was really into that song "What If God Was One of Us." I think he covered it.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe
it's not that
just
bad
sitting
of a
in
song,
Paisley
but-
Park listening to this.
Yeah. And just surrounded by puppets.
Yeah, this is puppets. Oh.
Yeah.
Let's get into this movie.
Let's do it. Opening title, Speak to Me, you know the drill, all that stuff. We get the intro from the man himself, as Gareth perfectly rendered in the intro for our show. And then, we dive straight into a performance of the man himself, Prince, who's called the Kid in this film, by the way, his character.
Yes.
He's just
every one of my notes, I wrote Prince, crossed it out, and wrote the Kid.
Yeah, I tend to alternate at random, so just know that when I'm talking about Prince, I'm talking about the Kid and vice versa. And he's here with his band, The Revolution, who are his band in real life, I believe.
Yeah. They come and go. They were replaced a couple times with other bands, but yeah.
But yeah, mostly the core members at this like stage in the recording process. Obviously, I think this is the crew that did record the album Purple Rain. I think.
Yes.
But yeah, and then they're doing their track "Go Crazy," which is the opening track on this album, or at least in this movie. Thoughts, Gareth?
I bloody love this. I love this film. You guys know that. Yeah. I love the song. The song. Usually I'll just put this song on and then end up listening to the whole album. It's definitely like he was trying to court a more rock and roll audience on this album. So this was like his I can do rock and roll, watch me. And shreds the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the great Prince songs about like an apocalypse of some kind as well. Yeah, what do you think?
I'm a big fan. A lot of fun. A lot of grooving around, especially in this dance floor. Very much enjoying it.
The crowd in this concert. Sorry, I'll let you finish. I asked you a question.
I was basically done. I had nothing to add other than it's bloody good. But
we might get stuck a little in the it's good. Hello territory this week.
Probably.
But the crowd in this. So a movie starts with these shots of like a beautiful bunch of 80s new wavy people all posing, waiting for the revolution to start. And then, we've got, men with huge hair, people who look like they're replicants from Blade Runner.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
I was saying that these guys were, establishing the aesthetic of the film, from the get-go, you know?
Yeah.
It's sort of a combination of this and a sort of classic love story with visiting the countryside and stuff, but also everyone looks like they're a replicant. It is pretty smart to show this is how everyone dresses. Everyone dresses like how Prince dresses. And it makes it a little easier when this film gets really melodramatic to accept why Prince is dressed like a alien pirate all the time. Yeah, man. That's just how he dresses, okay? In fact, it's how most people dress. In fact, everyone has their own pretty, strict aesthetic for the movie.
Yeah.
I can't think of, a normally dressed person off the top of my head that makes an appearance. Well, I guess, his family, but beyond that, not really. But yeah, oh, man. We also get the title card for the movie right off the top here, which is just over... It's the sweet Purple Rain font, obviously. And then it's over just Prince shrouded in fog, on stage, ready to start the performance. Oh, so good.
They also kick in there, once they finish the intro and start doing their, choreographed guitar movements. It is also when the Breathe guitars kick in.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
As soon as we, start getting into the, song proper... we get into the album proper for Pink Floyd, so that's a wee sync there. Yeah. We also get some sort of establishing shots of other key characters here. Apollonia? God, I'm gonna screw that one up definitely. But she's here, arriving in town and setting up in a hotel across the street from where this performance is taking place. We also see Morris Day, who's like getting ready for his appearance at the club, like pretty last minute. I do really love him. Just like this is the one time that you see him out of his costume, and he's just like muttering around his own home, doing like vacuuming and stuff. I love that. It's just very strong energy to introduce his character that way. Very fun. Yeah. Where do we go from here? It's just
it's very tough because most of this film is a concert film.
Yes.
And yeah, we've got completely different music, often wildly different tempo and genre playing over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't envy your notes this week.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a struggle. Prince, yeah, so we get the kid rolling around on his motorcycle as well. Just a few shots of these, which is like, I would say 90% of this movie like can be summed up with Prince riding a motorcycle through the countryside. Yeah, it's just, but he's also like dressed in exactly what he's currently wearing on stage, which is this like velvet purple suit with white cravat. But he's just on a motorbike. It's so good. But yeah, it's just, we just start this movie with a music video, and it's just like, okay, we're ready. Just setting the tone. And yeah, we get into On the Run here, continuing like mid-performance. This is like a fairly long song compared to the opening tracks of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. And
it's an extended version of Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we get into Morris arriving at the club ready for his performance, because Prince and the Revolution and Morris Day and The Time are both effectively house musicians here at this club, which I think is called 7th Avenue Nightclub. Is that correct?
I think it's First Avenue.
Okay. It's one of the two.
I think the real one was definitely First Avenue. I don't know if this one is also First Avenue.
No, you're right. It is First Avenue, I'm seeing. Yeah. Made up that 7th. Don't know where I grabbed that.
The one was just very thin. No, the one was very thick. Looks like a 7.
Yeah, just a big old one. But yeah. So Morris arrives and gets ready for his performance, and like we're immediately setting him up as the like direct rival, because he starts just like bad mouthing the other band immediately, and Apollonia comes in to see what's going on at this club and tries to get in because she wants to see the manager and like try and get a gig here at the club. She like sneaks her way in, jamming her foot in the door, which looked exceptionally painful. But some pretty bold moves just to rock up to a new town, staying in a hotel, go to the nearest club and be like, give me a job.
Yeah. Especially like within an hour of you arriving to the town as well.
Yeah. Bold as brass. I love it. And yeah, we get... as we're like wrapping up On the Run, with the other band is just wrapping up their song, just with a huge solo as we get to the crash sound and On the Run, and everyone's loving it. And
someone in the crowd is shaking their own tambourine that they've brought from home.
Hell yeah, that's very good. Man, I don't know how I would feel if I was performing. And I think that very much depends on the size of the venue. If people in the audience have brought their own instruments from home, you don't want everyone to do that. You don't want like 10,000 tambourines.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be a huge like sort of vuvuzela at a soccer game situation.
Yeah.
Man, fair enough. Shout outs to that person though. That's very powerful.
A band that would need that is the Two Jeromes, because we don't have any instruments.
That's very good. Yes, we heavily encourage audience members to bring their own instruments, because we didn't bring any. We only brought these huge mirrors. Oh my god. But yeah, we also get the clocks and time now coming in for the intro there, just as the song ends. So to give perspective, we're like pretty much almost all the way through, like at least halfway through side A before the first song ends.
Yeah.
So yeah. That gives you a little perspective on the pacing of this movie, I would say.
Yes, yeah. Very. Keep your minds on the pacing, listeners, because it is buck wild.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, I might as well give it away now. A lot of this film got cut. So,
Man.
I think it was going to be much longer. So all the concert footage stayed.
Good.
But a lot of the film itself got cut because it was, when they handed in the first cut, it was completely X-rated.
Whoa. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I can sort of feel that, like, hinting in the background.
Yeah.
Because, what we actually get for, like, a Prince movie is pretty tame.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, sexual implication. But, but yeah, like, I kind of was expecting more from that. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of it was left on the cutting room floor at Warner Brothers being like, we just can't show this fucking full 30-minute sex scene, Prince. I'm really sorry. And he's like, it's important.
Yeah, it's for the art.
Yeah.
But, like, I do feel like they were probably tried to do that thing apparently Game of Thrones was really bad of, where a lot of the plot got described during the sex scenes, because it does feel like a lot is missing in this movie, especially a lot of character motivation and the sense of time passing. Like, there's a lot of that time.
Oh, yeah.
But not a lot of ideas
Actual
on time itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine maybe there was a lot of, like, scenes where, you know, people explained things a little bit better, but someone's butt was just in shot or something, so they had to cut it.
Man.
Who's to say?
I love the strategy at the very least. They gave the editor a hell of a time, but anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of time, though, we're back with Time, the song, and also the band at the same time are playing here. The Time is playing to Time, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, that is pretty perfect.
Yeah.
And like, considering it's an extended version of Let's Go Crazy, like, you gotta wonder, was this intentional?
Yeah, they pushed it out so that we could get the time for the time, and that's pretty nice. But yeah, they're getting up there, doing their thing. We're getting just, like, the ominous chords of Time coming in, but they're doing their, like, style, as we said, was like, we've got Jerome dancing with his mirror. But they do a lot of, like, dancing in sync with each other, which I really appreciate. That's, like, half the act. But yeah, their whole deal is that they have these fun songs and want people to get up on their feet and jump around and stuff. Seems cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Times music.
Yeah.
Considering, again, it was a weird introduction to, hey, here's the villain in this film.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I kind of love how, like, down Morris Day is to be a villain in this. Like, he's not letting anything by. He comes off as pretty intense and nasty. But is fine with that, even though he's playing himself and his full real band and career hinges on this movie. Like, damn, powerful.
Yeah, he's definitely someone who thinks he's in a different film to the one Prince thinks he's in. Like, Prince is in a very melodramatic, serious film, and Morris Day is, like, in a fun kind of comedy, which I think, considering there's only, I think, 3 actual actors, professional actors in this whole film, Apollonia and the kids' parents, I think it was probably smarter on Morris's side to try to play a comedy as opposed to what Prince is up to.
Yeah, it fully cuts through the tension. I feel like it would be a weaker film without him, for sure. He'd, like, provide. It's not like he's providing comic relief or anything. It's just that he's, like, a bit of a goofy guy, and other characters in the film are able to, like, take him a little bit less seriously than whatever they're dealing with. It's like, it makes things a bit easier. But yeah, anyway, he's given his performance with the Time, and it's a lot of fun. They're pretty much in, like, near double time to the song Time as well.
Ooh.
Like, their dancing syncs up some of the time, not very much, but when it does, it's, like, twice the tempo of the song Time. So that's cool. So
some of the time is in time with time.
Yes, that's how I would say it, given the opportunity.
Good to know.
During this performance, the kid has gone into the crowd and comes across Apollonia and just sort of, like, stares at her from across the way, and then creeps up behind her and just stares over his, like, enormous sunglasses. Like, and she turns around to, like, speak to him because he's being weird, and he's disappeared. It's very, like, it's very Batman for some reason. And It's also like not the last comparison to Batman I'm gonna make.
Oh,
So get ready for that. Yeah, we get the guitar solo for Time as Prince is heading home on his bike. Rocks up to his house, and he's overhears this like very intense argument between his mother and father, and rushes in to stop like the domestic abuse that is breaking out.
yeah.
Pretty rough stuff. That is
It's a
taking
sharp
place.
turn in this film.
Oh yeah, you're coming off this like really fun Time performance and just like walking into this harrowing scene of awful domestic violence where like Prince just like intervenes and gets beaten up instead of his mum. Like taking the brunt of the beating to protect his mother. Because we'll find out more about it later, but effectively his father is this like disgraced musician who I guess is like, I think the implication that he's turned to drink and has like gone into a depression over his failed career and things like that. But is taking it out on basically everyone around him, everyone that he loves. It's pretty awful.
Yeah. Prince really wanted this film to be way darker than it is as well, which, considering some of these scenes are very dark, is a bit of a worry. I think that was part of when they brought in the director. He was just like, okay, we got to tone this back a little, Prince.
Yeah, the more you're telling me, the more it sounds like it was like almost a noir before all these edits. Like it's got the sex, it's got the like serious violence in there. Like it sounds like it could well be that like a film noir kind of thing, but also a concert film, which would have been pretty wild. Anyway,
you might be onto something with that because his follow-up film was entirely in black and white and looks very noir noir-y. So
maybe.
And the haters thought we weren't going to celebrate Noir-vember, but there you go.
Oh man, Noir-vember, man.
Yeah,
not a bad call. So we've got so there's a meeting the following day between Morris and the club owner Billy, who's it pretty much is my favorite character other than Jerome. So he owns the First Avenue and is just this dude who's just has a business and it's going fine. I love him. He's just got a good energy about him. Good aesthetic too. Pretty much every time we see him, he's got these like enormous white rimmed glasses on, which are fantastic. He's just got a great vibe.
This is the second film in a row where one of your favorite characters has been someone who's entirely dressed in tracksuits at all times.
Yeah, man. Listen, I know what I like. I just I like a character who is comfortable in the film that they're in. All right, and they know how to they know how to dress. They know what they want in life, and they're loving it. That's all they need. You know. Like in House, it was that fantastic teacher that was only around for one scene. But like you got all the information you need and they're like, all right, see ya. Like, you know, so fair enough. I fully stand by my stance there.
Look out for the Pink Floyd tracksuits available soon.
Oh my God, please.
That would actually be perfect for this show.
Holy shit. They say Sync on one side and Floyd on the other, and you like zip them together. Holy shit.
Yeah. Because what is a zip but the sinking of fabric? You know?
Exactly. Oh my Lord. But yeah, so these guys are discussing like business at the nightclub. We get actually quite a bit of like of information here where there are 3 house bands at the First Avenue, and they're all vying for attention here, and they've sort of got a good thing going where Billy's paying them all, and they play pretty much, I think, every night. Like,
like 2 songs each every night, which is wild.
It's quite a lot, but like also weirdly short sets. I guess the songs are long, so it's fine. But anyway, Morris is like basically vying for the Prince and the Revolution to be removed so that he can get another one of his groups in on the action here, because he's like, he forms his own music groups. Like he formed The Time and he wants to start venturing into other bands and stuff. And so he's wanting to like encroach in on that space. I think mainly just like out of rivalry. But anyway. He also gives us the info about the kid's father, Prince's father, and that he was this musician who threw away his career and destroyed his life, etc. So yeah, we get all that very quickly. And yeah, he also like pitches the idea of a ladies group playing at the club, and he wants to put that together as a potential option for Billy.
Yeah.
And Billy's like, yeah, that'd be cool. All right, cool. Sort it out.
Billy does say one of my favorite lines of his, where he's just like, sexy but not dirty. I've got enough problems.
Fair enough, yeah. Like,
Billy, what are these problems?
mate, looking at all the performances in this movie, like, and his stance on most of what happens, like, that tracks to his character.
Yeah.
Sexy but not dirty is something that he stands by, and I can respect that, just like I stand by him. You know?
Oh.
Here we go.
Don't watch the sequel then, because
oh no,
the main plot line is that Billy died.
No! Oh,
Yeah.
That's awful news.
I'm sorry.
Oh well.
You can pretend it's not canon.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so it's not canon in my mind until it
Whoa.
exists. But yeah, so yeah, he proposes that girls group, and they're like, okay, cool, let's go. The kid goes to rehearse after like nothing has happened the night before. He just goes to the First Avenue again to rehearse with the band, but
Yeah.
because he's so late after what happened, basically everyone's gone home except the two girls in the band, Wendy and Lisa, I think are their names.
Yeah, that's them.
Who are like playing some material that he hasn't heard before, and yeah, hanging out here. So yeah, I think I may have mixed this up actually, but anyway, they because he gets handed a demo of their material, which he doesn't listen to. Prince, for whatever reason, like shuts down these ideas all the time in the band when they're putting forward ideas for songs, and he's like, "No, it's my way or the highway," which is like a weird thing for the protagonist of your movie to do. But anyway,
it's a weird thing all round in that like Prince wrote all of the music for this film, like every band is Prince's music, and like he wrote the title song "Purple Rain." And yet in the film, he didn't write it, and it's the song that changes everyone's mind. So it's an interesting ego play to do, especially the idea that he's not going to take anyone else's feedback, which is famously like a real life Prince thing. So he was like aware of it enough to have it in his film, but then not aware of it to like change.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Man, oh well. Never mind. Maybe if he watched it a few more times, he would have learned. But anyway, So he gets handed this demo of their song, and I think he gives it like a little listen in a little bit, but it's just like some like smooth rhythm guitar kind of stuff over synth, and that's sort of it. But yeah. So yeah, we get into a great gig now, and there are more rehearsals taking place for Morris's group. I think he's either doing auditions here for the girls group that he wants to put together, or he's just messing with members of his own band. I'm not entirely sure, but this is establishing him as a bit of a jerk because he's like objectifying these ladies as they're doing their dance, and like he says that like he doesn't let them come up with their own dance routine. So he has a similar sort of like ego trip kind of thing going on, but he's the villain. Like,
that's
weird.
Interesting.
It's weird that they have the same problem. But he's here with Jerome, who's just sort of like hanging out being his assistant. And yeah, he says that he's going to go and talent scout this Apollonia character who he saw at the club. Going to go find her, which like they didn't interact in the film, so it's wild. I'm pretty sure that when she was in the club, he was performing, so it's pretty wild that he knows about it. But anyway, and then he's like going about his business, walking down the street, and he gets accosted by this lady who he was supposed to take out, but stood up, and Jerome picks her up and throws her in a skip. Jesus. Messed up. He just
so messed up.
abducts this woman and throws her in a bin. Shady as fuck. Probably.
And I might be wrong. It looks like he's then about to lock her in the bin, but it cuts away. And then when it cuts back, she's standing up and she's like,
being like, oh,
half laughing, like, oh, Morris.
Yeah.
Like to try to make it kind of okay, but it's very not
I feel
okay.
like, yeah, there was probably two versions of that. One of which where she got locked in a bin. So, oh dear. But yeah, it's very strange. We also like cut from here to another scene which like has no like preamble at all, where Apollonia and the kid are in like the mall together, like seemingly just like on a date or something, like interacting, and because he's like sort of teasing her and messing with her a bit. He steals a bangle from like off of her boot, a little like gold chain thing, and then tosses it back to her once he's had like his fun messing with her. And they walk up to this like crazy, obviously a Prince guitar in a shop window, which is hysterical. It's this like enormous white guitar with like a curly Q coming off of it. Hilarious that this is just for sale. And he's like, yeah, I could rock that.
This movie is so set in a world where Prince must exist because everything is very Prince inspired. But
yes.
Then,
the world built
that's too
for
much
Prince.
to unpack.
Yeah. It's a Truman Show situation, but for Prince. And we're the ones enjoying it. Yeah. So we get into more of the meat and potatoes of this movie with just Prince riding around on his motorcycle, feeling feelings. And we've got Apollonia on the back along for the ride, also having a good time here. Pretty easy breezy good times for Great Gig, honestly. Like probably not a tone match, and that like Great Gig has a bit more drama than this sort of easygoing sequence, but that's fine. We do go into money here as well, and
their bike ride to this lake takes so long.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of shots of them just riding around like this quite nice autumnal area with mountains and stuff. They rock up on a lake once we're in money to hang out, and he pranks her, the classic jump into the lake prank.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty funny as well seeing these guys like in full motorcycle leathers rock up on this lake. They just look like they've dropped down from space, kind of.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's very nice. So he sort of like goads her into jumping into this mythical lake so that they can be together. Like there's no one that could be with him that hasn't jumped into this lake. And when she does it, he's like, "Oh wait, that isn't the lake, Lamau. It's a different lake." Classic.
Yeah. Weird.
It's real weird.
So they shot this all in the winter.
Oh my God.
And, Apollonia actually did strip off and jump into the lake.
Yeah.
And she was like, cool, I don't know if that take was good. Let me do it again. And Prince was like, no. Like, Prince's character was all like, yeah, jump into the lake.
Yeah.
But like real Prince was like, guys, we've got to shoot this somewhere else. And they apparently like waited until they could go to LA and shot it again.
Oh.
On like a fine warm lake.
That's very kind, honestly. Like good health concerns there from from Prince. I appreciate that. Because she is like diving into this freezing lake. Like basically naked. She's got underwear on, but that's about it.
And I feel so sorry for her because the character Apollonia then gets out of this freezing water.
Yeah.
Prince ditches her on his bike and she has to get back into her leather.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A true nightmare. Like just forcing on leather clothes on a riverbank abandoned by the person that you were kind of into. This is a terrible first date.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But it like he eventually like comes back around and picks her up, which thank God. But does the thing where he like is in the moving car, and as the person reaches for the door handle, like you drive forward a little bit, like that, but on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Just more bloody pranks. Is Prince the prankster? I don't know. don't know.
I'm the kid and welcome to Jackass.
Yeah. It didn't endear me to him personally.
No,
but,
not at all.
it's pretty clear that they do have chemistry despite all of this. So, you know, oh well. Yeah, so they get... we cut back to, I think, another performance at the club where Morris is hiding out at backstage, trying to set up a situation where if Jerome sees Apollonia in the audience, he'll give a password. And they have a full-on who's on first routine here, which is a lot of fun. It's like, it's the same joke, but like, it's good. It's still a good joke, guys. And they set the password to be what, and it pays off. I was happy with it. Yeah. Speaking of what,
I bloody loved it. I think it's just the power of Jerome, but I found this funnier than Who's on First.
Wow. Than the classic Who's on First routine. Man.
I'll say it. Jerome is the greatest comedian of all time.
Wow.
Not, Abbott and Costello.
You don't even need to understand baseball to get this version of it. You just need to understand music.
I think that might have been it. Not even that. Just
or like
passwords.
Meeting a person. You know? That's all you need
We've
to
all
understand.
met people.
Yeah, you need to have met a person before and know what a password is, which in today's day and age is pretty likely. He was just ahead of his time, Jerome. Oh man, but yeah, we go into Us and Them for a very vibey, red lit crowd. They're like all lit up with their arms in the air, and we get a performance from the third house band, who are Des Dickerson and the Modern Airs, Gareth. And they're playing their song, Modern Air, which I have no strong opinions on.
Neither.
No, these guys sort of look like if the Strokes were in the 80s exclusively and then like disappeared off the face of the earth after that. Like... That's the impression that I get from these guys.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. But they also...
The Strokes fell into a time machine one afternoon and became the third band at First Avenue.
Yeah, exactly. They are also doing the same thing that The Time do, and that they're all moving the guitars in sequence and stuff like that, you know, which is fun. But, you know, they aren't as good as the other two bands. If anyone... Like, at the end of this movie, when, like, one of the bands has to get kicked out, pretty sure it's Des Dickerson and the Modern Airs.
Yeah, it's so funny that Billy refuses to even acknowledge kicking them out. Like, they must be Billy's vibe.
They must
Sexy
be.
but not dirty.
Yeah, there you go. The true Modern Air grind set. Oh, my Lord. But yeah, so we go backstage and this is where we get the members of Wendy and Lisa approach the kid about the demo that they wrote. They're like, so you got that demo. What did you think? And he's basically says nothing about it, doesn't even want to talk about it. And they pretty rightly accuse him of like never taking the material that they put forward seriously. Pretty awful. And like he like chastises them by talking through a little like hand puppet thing, like a little puppet that's hidden in a cone. You know?
Yeah, a little vampire puppet, which is terrifying when you're seeing it to Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah, it's no good. Like, way too many puppets in this movie. Like, I'm not okay with it. Like, puppets in general, I feel like, are scary and strange creatures. But Prince must just have a fixation with them because they get a lot of screen time. Like quite a bit. They're dotted around his like inner sanctum. So you know, it's
like I just had a flash when you said puppets. I think I was in Melbourne. I was in an art gallery by myself, and I walked around a corner, and it was just a room full of puppets, and it was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they didn't even look like they were art. I think it was just someone left their puppets behind.
Oh no. Discarded puppets are far scarier than intentional puppets. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. But yeah. So yeah, they're pretty rightly pissed off and like take off in a huff. And he also like talks to the other bandmates who are basically indifferent about this whole thing. They're pretty like nasty. They're just like the guy members of the band are just like, girls, man.
Yeah.
What are they like? And I'm like, that's not good. And that's like the only thing they offer through this whole movie as well.
Yeah, Bobby Z, the drummer, looks like a little uncomfortable but does nothing. Brown Mark, the bassist, has no lines. And then Dr. Fink, who, if you don't know anything about Prince, Dr. Fink is the keyboardist who dresses like a surgeon.
Yes.
Which does make him probably the most normally dressed person in this movie.
True.
There are a lot of surgeons.
Yeah, I like to imagine him going off during the day and just doing surgery. Like he's a real doctor thing.
Yeah.
And this is just his night gig.
Yeah, the fact that Billy runs a club where you have to perform 2 songs a night is really messing with his surgical career.
Yeah. He's like, man, I'm needed in theatre, and then I'm needed at the theatre. I don't know what I need to do. Oh my God. I love him.
Dr. Fink is he gets one line and it's like atrociously sexist.
Yeah, it's really terrible. So, man, imagine he had more lines that weren't quite as bad and they were cut, but hard to know for sure, Dr. Fink.
They were less sexist, but they were X-rated, so they had to be cut.
Yeah. He was just like speaking about like his philosophy and thoughts on the world, just as like butts are bobbing in the background.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Damn it! Of course that would be cut." Now I look like an asshole. Man, poor Doctor Think. So I didn't like that they were basically indifferent about their own band members. There's a lot of tension in this band to begin with. But no one's helping anyone out, and I think that makes for a poor band dynamic.
The two Jeromes won't be like that.
Fuck no. If anything, we'll just take a good hard look in the mirror and get our problems sorted. So
exactly.
Yes. So Jerome sees Apollonia on the dance floor and deploys the password, which immediately fails, of course, because Morris was playing the straight man in that bit earlier, so he has no idea what's going on. But he sees her and goes over to sort of court her. And Morris is a man who likes to mix business and pleasure as much as possible, to the point where that Venn diagram is a circle. And he like, instead of like bringing up that he wants her for the girl group, he just sort of like tries to get with her. He like gets bottle service taken over to their table and starts acting like this big shot kind of guy. Effectively just tries to seduce her, but she is not falling for any of his lines. In fact, like the way that he's describing the things that he thinks are really cool, like he's got this bronze waterbed or whatever, she thinks that these are like pretty funny jokes, you know, like which is good. Like, thank goodness, because if she realized that he was being earnest and creepy, like that would be much worse. But anyway, so he doesn't really get anywhere in this sequence, but that's fine. We get into the performance because now it's time for the Revolution to be on stage. Yeah. And we're in Any Color You Like in our Pink Floyd album. And we get a performance of The Beautiful Ones, which is another one of my favorite Prince songs, by the way.
So good.
This one is so good. Just the opening, the like, baby, 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 is something that I sing to myself all the time.
Awesome.
It's a good one. And also the direction for this performance is one of my favorites in the movie, and that it's just all like pink and blue lights that alternate and cross over each other, which is like on theme for Prince, obviously, with the like whole androgyny kind of angle. It's really stunning. It just looks really good for the performance. Thoughts on the song? Like you said that you were into it as well, but any further things to add?
I absolutely adore it. I love that it builds. It's a weird choice to be track 3 on his album, but I'm all for it. Yeah, and it is this performance that I think got this song. It was like, yeah, it was two things. It was a weird love triangle I was in when I was much younger, got me into this song.
Wow.
And also this performance in this movie, the fact like Prince ends it like writhing on the ground like uncontrollably because of the passion.
Yes.
And yeah, he's singing it to... It's like another huge emotional jump in this film, and that he's singing it to Apollonia and Morris, being like, do you want Morris or do you want me? But the eye line is a little weird in this film, and you can't tell that he's looking at her. He's like looking slightly in the wrong place. And also, in the other direction, there's a blonde lady sitting behind Apollonia who's like clearly thinking the song's about her. Because she's like paying more and more attention as it goes on, and like her eyeline's kind of looking more at Prince than Apollonia's.
Oh,
it's so funny.
I really like that read on it. That's wonderful, because that's almost true to what that kind of performance would be like. Like there's no way she could know that. Like just because we're in a movie, like we know that it's directed to her, but basically everyone in the audience would be feeling the same way regardless. Like this song's about me, man.
Yeah. Well, especially like a small town, I assume, and like, the kids performing every night. And like everyone who goes to the club probably sees him a lot. This girl might actually like run into Prince a couple times, or the kids, sorry, at the like frozen yogurt stand or something and be oh man, we really hit it off. And now he's singing the beautiful ones about me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in a love triangle with the kid, man. The kid and the guy at the frozen yogurt store.
Oh, quick aside, what kind of frozen yogurt would Prince like the most?
Because they could go either way. He's either going all sweet, or he's going like an interesting mix of like healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon he's mostly toppings.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling like lychee is way too heavily involved in whatever he's doing, but I can respect it. It'd probably taste really good, but like be very weird at the same time.
It's like a lychee base instead of the yogurt, and then he puts the yogurt, like drizzles that just on top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down. That sounds wonderful. Follow up. What frozen yogurt would Pink Floyd have?
I don't know if they do it at frozen yogurt places, but if there's a way to like drizzle, I want to say like some chocolate on it that forms a shell. I guess like a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then inside, just plain vanilla.
Yeah. Oh, I love that analogy that they're just like the Mr. Whippy ice cream that's the choc dip and nothing else. Like, give me plain vanilla ice cream dipped in chocolate. And if we're really excited, a flake. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that energy from Pink Floyd. That's perfect. Oh my God.
I do wonder, like, what the Pink Floyd fans who listen think about us and what we think of Pink Floyd.
Oh, by now they know. No, I'm sure it's fine. If you're offended, please direct all complaints to Gareth Blackler. No. Nah, to singfloydpod@gmail.com. Anyway.
Please direct all your complaints to the band Pink Floyd. Know that they did this to themselves.
Get them to sort us out, because they probably could.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, we could be out of here, Gareth.
Pink Floyd could ruin our lives with like, and they could ruin our lives, and it won't even be the biggest part of their day. Like they'll forget they ruined our lives by the end of the week.
Exactly. And if that's my legacy, Gareth, I'm all for it. I'm ready to stand under the finger and be crushed to death like the gnat that I am.
Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing. Anyway, we cut back to this sweet performance, which has brought Apollonia to tears watching along. Pretty good. So yeah, winning her over. And also, this is one where they just play one song and that's the set. They just get up and leave. And they're
so proud of themselves.
Yeah, Billy's backstage being like, what the fuck? That's not what I pay you for. And they're like, oh, Billy, you don't understand the whims of the musician. This is just how it be, Billy. It'll be fine. Keep them wanting more, Billy. And yeah, he's just like, God damn it. now I need to get like
Yeah.
now I need to figure something else out. More drinks, I guess. But yeah. After the performance, the kid and Apollonia head off together on his bike for the night. And he goes home and they see the kid's parents sort of like making out on the couch. They have this very strange, intense relationship, his parents, where like they love each other and hate each other at the same time. And yeah, it's not good. They're constantly at each other's throats in basically every way. But yeah, so yeah, they can't sort of go in there. And so we sneak into Prince's like secret little hideaway in his basement. His inner sanctum is what I call it, which is his little sanctuary. It's full of like instruments and weird puppets, and
Mostly puppets.
and music and records and shelves of like weird potions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool down here. I would hang out in this little basement, despite the puppets. But yeah. Yeah, so he's heading down here as we're like sort of in brain damage for this, going into eclipse. And they get closer together, and Prince does this weird like hypnotic kind of gestures as they discuss like with who that song was for, the previous song that from the club. And yeah, it's sort of hard to read what's going on, but either way, they end up getting
Prince
together.
is also playing her music of like some synths and drum machines and a woman crying backwards.
Yeah.
Which is all very spooky, especially now we're getting into just the heartbeats of Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's not great. He's gearing up for Speak to Me. This is Prince's Speak to Me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some kind of like weird like audio experience that he's got. But either way, it leads to them kissing as over the silence and heartbeats. So
Yeah.
as we go into playthrough 2, and we sort of get what would be, I imagine, a drawn out love scene in a sort of The Room kind of fashion if it weren't cut down by the rules lawyers at bloody Warner Brothers, the prudes, and on the censorship board. Good Lord. Because it's pretty tame. He's sort of just like feeling her up. It's not really anything going on here, but yeah. It's and that's all we get. We even fade to black, like to further prove that there was more going on.
And there clearly is more going on, because later on there's a montage of scenes we've seen before and some scenes that we haven't. And they're making love in a barn, which in the timeline of the film, they've only been together for one night. So at some point overnight, like after finishing a concert and before getting up early, they drive to some barn.
I don't know. I feel like there's an implied like long-term relationship that occurs here, because we don't at all see it. Like there's definitely, because he has flashbacks. Maybe they're just like projections of what he thought the relationship could be in that sequence.
Yeah.
It's hard to say without like
he's been out scoping a barn for lovemaking. He's like, this will do, and like nods at the farmer, and the farmer's like, oh no, he's back.
Back again. God damn it. Let my chickens roost, Prince. But yeah, so we get into the playthrough 2 and go into Breathe as we get that fade out, and then we return Apollonia to her home, or to her hotel across from First Avenue, and the kid again just goes to rehearse at the club because he's just got nothing going on, and walks in on the girls playing their demo again, and like fucking chastises them again, just like so rude. He's just I told you I'm not going to do your stupid music. Now get off it. Which saying get off it is like a fuck you is pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, very Prince.
We need to bring that back. Get off it. It's very good.
I like it.
Yeah. I guess it's like get off my back, but I don't know.
Get off the idea. But that's a good strong get off it.
Yeah.
We're even wondering.
Exactly. They're like, what? But yeah, anyway, they're again upset and I think leave the band for real in this instance as well. They just head off and they're like, fuck your practice.
Yeah. Well, I think also most of the band have already left because the kid was late again.
Yeah, he's too busy scoping barns and like having sex fade to black, you know? Like, he's busy. So yeah.
He dropped Apollonia off, drove to a couple barns of his real estate agent, had a good look, and then showed up for band practice. And Bobby Z and Fink were at surgery, so they had to end it.
Exactly. I've got a 9 o'clock appendicitis appointment. That's not an appendectomy. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway,
good on you for knowing the word.
I know the wrong word and then the right word. That's the James Barron guarantee. Yeah, Apollonia is sort of like picked up outside of her hotel. Jerome and Morris roll up in their car. And again, rather than just like telling her what he wants, he just hits on her again. It's like a compulsion for Morris. I think it's really funny. But she like turns him down because he's being like a nightmare sleazeball guy. And he's like, all right, I'm sorry, I'll get out of the car and chase you down the street and actually propose a business relationship. He's like, do you want to be in this girl group that I'm putting together? It'd be pretty cool. I know that you're a singer and a dancer, and do you want to have a shot at, because I know that you're looking, I think it'd be cool. And she's like, just a business relationship, right? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And we cut from there to the kid who's listening to the tape again, the like demo reel. He is giving it a chance, and that like he listens to it. Like, this is, I think, the second time that he listens to it in the film, but he doesn't really get anywhere with it, and he's just sort of like skipping backwards and forwards through it. And he closes his eyes as he's listening to this, but upstairs and overhead. He hears his parents like arguing and fighting again, and this fight continues down into the basement where he is, and his mum gets slapped in the face in front of him. It's pretty awful. He's just a super scary guy. This like performance done by the dad here is so convincing and so like rough. Like, every time it happens, it's so jarring with the rest of the movie that like it really stands to prove like how awful this is and how like well done this performance is, because it like freaks me out every single time.
I think the dad being one of the only pro actors, the mum and the dad, like it really brings it to life. And like this dad's like, he's coated in sweat, his eyes are red as he's crying the whole time. It is truly terrifying.
It's awful, yeah. He like launches into this like monologue of basically saying that like he's the victim in this situation, and like his family don't back him and they don't believe in him, and that's the reason why he lashes out. And he says that like he delivers the line, "I would die for you," like saying like that he loves them so much, but like also like hates them for not giving him like the respect he deserves or whatever, I think is the idea. It's all kinds of fucked. Like,
it's awful.
Yeah, and that happens over the crash sound and On the Run. So just it's sort of to undercut like what is actually a really serious scene. Like, it did have a sync for me, but you know, the show's still happening, unfortunately.
The syncs that we don't want to report for you folks. And things are too upsetting.
But yeah, it's a very powerful scene in the movie. This bit in particular, I thought, just a lot of the scenes with the dad really are really hard to watch.
Also completely scenes I'd kind of forgotten or glossed over until these watches.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, very upsetting moments.
Yeah, when you're paying such close attention to everything that happens, you like usually would be like, oh yeah, this is just the fun like Prince concert movie where you get to see all of his hits, and it's got Morris and it's got Billy, and it's a lot of fun. But then also there's a horrific domestic violence subplot, like
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
I will say, like, if someone does want to get into Prince visually, there's a concert from this Purple Rain era, which comes and goes on streaming services.
Oh yeah.
So if you catch it at the right time when the moon's
Is it the
shining
Super Bowl one or?
Is it the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No, it's much later. It's much earlier. Sorry. It's,
Okay.
From the 80s. It's from he only toured Purple Rain for a few months, and then I think didn't like how successful he was getting and put out a completely different album.
Wow.
But like, yeah, I think it's just called Prince and the Revolution Live. So yeah, if you want to avoid this kind of like icky stuff, but you still want to get the power of Prince, and the Revolution at their height, is like, find that. I think see if it's on a streaming service or anything.
Yeah, that sounds like the way to
enjoy
go.
that
For sure. Yeah. Or just like jam the album, because like
the album.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's another weird cut here where like he sort of just goes to sleep after this fairly horrific scene, and then wakes up sometime later with Apollonia in his room, which she wasn't there before.
Yeah. It's also this must have been several days later or something.
I guess so.
He says to meet her at 8, but the time on the clock is, I think it's like 7:10.
Yeah.
So it's either a mistake or it's a different day.
I don't know what's going on. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of weird stuff happening, especially since he's in the same place. It's a really bad cut, like, for continuity. But anyway, she's done like a sort of Gift of the Magi thing where she sold her anklet that she had earlier to buy that fancy white guitar for Prince, but he has not reciprocated the Gift of the Magi in any way, and so gives her one of his earrings that he's currently wearing, which I found to be hysterical. But yeah, and so they just sort of like, he's like, thank you so much, and they have an embrace, and we just get more shots of his creepy puppets being like, excellent. And then we go from that like joyous scene with the guitar, and she gets up and says that she's going to join Morris's group, the new girl group, and he abruptly gets up. He like clarifies what she says, and then he slaps her in the face, mirroring like exactly what's going on with his own parents, which is awful. It's really terrible, and also like not the last time he's gonna like hit her, which is real bad.
It is nasty, and this is what I meant when this is the scene that's turned now two people off Prince. They can't get out of this idea. I think like this is something that's reprehensible.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're gonna make like it, I get that it makes sense in the plot, like he's trying to escape his father's legacy.
Yes,
but he can't. But like, I think having a first-time director and a non-actor kind of doing this, I think they didn't handle it very well.
Oh, totally. In the plot of the movie, this is not resolved in any way. Like, Prince is
yes.
Yeah, he is the same person who did all this stuff, like, and hasn't learned the lesson in this instance. Like, he still did this stuff, like, and is still definitely capable of doing it again once the credits roll. Like, yeah, it's left completely unresolved in a really terrible way. So I think that's totally fair. But also, this is the character of Prince, and not like that's the character of Prince in Purple Rain, the film, rather than
the
Prince, the man. You know, it's the kid rather than Prince, as you say. Yeah,
I think that's why he's the only one. Him and the dad are the only ones who aren't credited by their real names. I think he really wanted to draw this line, like, no, this is the kid. This is a character in my dark drama.
Yeah. But yeah, he also he delivers this line about it. He says, "I don't want you in my life this way." He's like trying to control her actions, and like he's lashing out in the same way that his father is. But like, yeah, it's really fucked. And that he's trying to control her, what she does, like, and he's like, you don't know Morris, you don't know what he's like. And she's like, well, I want to like make it and make my own decisions. It's really fucked. She runs out of the scene.
Yeah.
And I want to do the same. So let's do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get more rehearsal space now where Lisa and Wendy just haven't shown up at all. So that's another like pillar in the kid's life that is crumbling. And Billy pulls him aside up to the bar where he's hanging out, tending bar like in the middle of the day. And yeah, just like basically like talks about the problems that the band are having. And yeah, he's saying that he's got 4 potential house bands now and he only needs 3. So step it up. Like, I know that you're having problems in the band and I'm sorry, but like, I've got to run a business. So like, watch yourself. Like it's a good warning for Prince to get his act together and stop like acting like a dick. So in response to this, he like goes out on his motorbike and sort of has a contemplative moments around the city in montage form, dressed in full like motorcycle leather as we get When Doves Cry playing. This is just a full-on music video for When Doves Cry, by the way. Just because we get like shots, like full-on shots from previously in the movie brought back here, like synced to lyrics in the song. Yeah, it's just a music video. Like, I'm pretty sure that this would be cut and released as the music video for When Doves Cry, like an alternate version anyway.
So the actual music video proves our theory because the music video is scenes from the movie and pretty much this exact thing, but it's also a bunch of scenes of Prince in a bathtub. So like,
just thinking about
like
stuff.
MTV were just like, it's too X-rated, guys.
Oh, what a guy. Just chilling in his bath, you know, soaking in the vibe. Oh, amazing. And yeah, so he's just like, it's just we get that. And that's all I have to say about it. It's just like a full music video that happens. And then we go to Apollonia like practicing for her performance. I guess doing like an audition kind of thing. We get like the call out to the mirror of the domestic abuse in case you didn't put that together. There's like the 2 shots are side by side in this like music video sequence. And he like is sort of chilling by a lake as we get into Us and Them. And we get into the hardest part of this movie, or like one of the harder parts, as he arrives home after this and his mum is sitting on the doorstep of the house just despondent, clearly been beaten badly. And he runs in to like confront his dad, like screaming at him, like, where are you, motherfucker? And like sees the house is in like a complete state of disarray. There's like furniture and things smashed everywhere. And he sees the doors to the basement are open. And as he goes in there, we get a shot of his father like palming a handgun. And as he turns the light switch on to see his father, his father shoots himself in the head.
Whoa, hold on. No, you've jumped very far ahead.
Have I?
Yeah. This is when he watches his dad play piano, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I was like, I didn't realize the handgun was in that.
No, you're right. You're so right. I've jumped ahead. The handgun thing is coming up later. Spoilers. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, listeners. I'll go. He's at the piano, just having a time.
The opposite of a gun, the piano.
Yeah, the piano gun. But yeah, it's still bad. Like he's beaten his wife and is like broken stuff in the house, and he's like playing one of his own original songs, and doesn't. He's like. We see, like, he finishes the song and, like, lifts his hand up off the piano. We see his hands shaking, again, because he's been, like, beating his wife. He's, like, unable to play the song properly. Pretty awful. Not quite as awful as shooting yourself in the head, but, you know. But, yeah, he's playing... They have, a very, like, muted conversation between each other where, like, clearly this father-son relationship is awfully strained and... Yeah, it's pretty wild that the kid even became a musician after his father like launched into this awful like downward spiral. Just in terms of like legacy, it's pretty amazing to see that the kid became like a successful musician through all of it anyway. But yeah, it's very sad because they have like an interaction where he's like, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And he said yes, and he's like, "Are you thinking about marrying her?" And the kid's like, "I don't know," and he says, "Don't get married." Like explaining like as if that's like justifying all of this behavior. It's really awful. But yeah,
the song that the dad is playing is the guitar solo to Prince's song "Computer Blue," which is the song the kid plays next, which is very interesting in the idea of this film. That Eva, the kid, heard his dad in this horrific situation play the piano and then decided to put that as the solo of his like fun, sexy computer song. Or the kid didn't realize it and it's a commentary on how like the kid can't escape his father's legacy. Or the third option is that the dad heard the kid play it and stole it himself, and the kid has said, because the kid's like, did you write it? And did you write this? And the dad's like, no, I don't write this down. And the kid's probably like, motherfucker, I know you stole this from me. Like, come on, who are you fooling here? Which is my favorite read.
Yeah, I hope it's that. Oh man, that's wild. But yes, as you say, we go into Computer Blue now, which is performed by the kid, but he's wearing a mask, like a masquerade kind of mask, and is shirtless for this performance. A new look for...
It's very charged and sweaty.
It's very weird. It's a very odd performance as well, and the bar staff and Billy are not vibing it. This does not fit their category of sexy but not dirty.
It's weird. Billy's liking this. It's the next song that Billy's like, no, that was too sexy. He says to Morris is like, oh, it's pretty empty in here. And for some reason, Billy's like, oh, the kid is on rare form tonight.
I thought that was sarcastic. I thought he was saying he's in rare form and that he's being like too much, you know, like...
You are 100% right.
Yeah.
That's the issue with a band like Pink Floyd playing over this. Someone's so earnest, is it's very hard to pick up sarcasm.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure. Man. Yeah, when Morris comes in here with Apollonia to like promote their launch of their performance, he says that the kid is in rare form, and I think he's just he's saying that like he's like lost his edge effectively in saying that. Yeah. He's being like way over the top or like overcompensating, I think, because he's feeling like he's losing his grip on the band. People have left. It's not good. And we go into Darling Nikki now in the performance, which I don't know if you know, but you probably do. Pretty sexually charged song. This song is responsible for the explicit tag to be created for music. So that's pretty wild.
It's insane, right?
He performs this song basically to like publicly humiliate and torment Apollonia, which is not great after like hitting her in a previous scene. But it's very, very rude, very awful. And he's sort of like implying that this song is about like how like slutty their relationship was, kind of. And it also pisses off Billy like even further because this is not his vibe. So she runs off all upset in tears. Billy is backstage like saying that the stage is not the place to be working through your personal bullshit. He does not appreciate this. And Billy starts directly comparing him to his father, which is hard. It is pretty messed up. Basically saying that he's like lost his touch and is going to go the same way as his father, and like the kid is fully aware that that is like what is happening. In so many ways, and is very scared of that, but is also falling into those habits. So Billy's fucking pissed, and he's like, fucking watch yourself, because you better be amazing on the next performance, otherwise you're out. And Jerome comes in on behalf of Morris, which I love. He's just like, hey man, that was fucked up what I just saw. What was that weirdness? Anyway, Morris was like, we don't approve of that, but we came to drop off tickets to Apollonia's show on opening night. So here you go. And we pretty much go straight there. They're playing in a bar called Taste, which is a hitherto unforeseen bar, which is a fucking weird place, by the way. It's got like table service kind of situation with a bar up the back and a stage to perform on that's really small, but no room for anyone to dance at all. It's also got like a mesh backdrop, which I found very strange. But anyway.
They seem to love mesh and wire in like the 80s. Like that was a big, maybe they found a lot of wire at some point in 80s America and like, it's going everywhere.
Yeah. At first I thought it was like just a chain link fence or something that was behind them, but it's like rope made to look like it's like fishnet stockings or something that have been stretched across the entire backstage. It's really strange. But yeah, Apollonia performs, the Apollonia 6, Gareth.
Which is 3 people.
Yep. Confusing, but fair. The Apollonia...
And also, in real life, it was the Vanity 6.
Okay.
And then the singer Vanity didn't want to be in the movie.
Wow.
So they replaced it with Apollonia and changed the whole band, the whole real-life band, to the Apollonia 6.
Whoa.
Again, only 3 people. But you can see in an early scene, Morris says Vanity, and they've just dubbed over Apollonia.
Oh, man. Those are they have a lot of different syllables. It's got to be pretty noticeable when you don't have Pink Floyd playing over top. Oh, man. But yeah, they're performing their song, Sex Shooter. Further adding confusion to the whole 6-3 thing, because now we've got sex as an element for sex. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's a pretty cool song. They're having a good time. A lot of dancing around, I do love the energy of pretty much everyone at the club as well, though. Like, everyone's just hanging out at these tables. We see Billy having a grand time.
Yeah.
Morris and Jerome are in the back, like, incognito at their own club performance, wearing sunglasses inside, which I found to be very funny, that they, like, had to sneak in for some reason. I don't know. But also, the kid is here, also wearing sunglasses inside, his big, like, circular sunglasses, which he wears when he wants to be brooding and mysterious. And he spies...
The least incognito man.
Yes, absolutely, because he's still, like, Prince. But he also spies Lisa and Wendy here, who are enjoying the performance and haven't spoken to him in a while, presumably. The performance goes well. Billy heads off to go back to his club and says that this group is good. He goes up to the kid and says, like, your slot is at risk, basically. Because these guys could be the new house band and you need to get it together, dude. We cut to outside and Morris and Apollonia are like wandering the street, fucking drunk as skunks, arm in arm together. I think this is sort of like a horrible date rape thing that's about to happen. It's not good. Morris is sort of trying to, like, he's been angle shooting the entire time to get Apollonia into bed. And like, now that they are a successful business pairing, he's hoping that to get her very drunk and to trick her into bed, I think, is the idea. Not great. But yeah, so she's very drunk and gives him a big kiss on the cheek and for giving her a shot, basically. And then out of the night emerges the kid on his bike, driving past, full Batman again. We're in an alleyway. If he could have a cape billowing in the wind and it would not be out of place, because he just sails past on the bike and with a single punch like knocks Morris into some like discarded cardboard boxes that exist in all alleyways. Like, incredible. Just Velvet Batman.
Prince does love Batman. Like, he did the first Batman Tim Burton movie, the soundtrack.
Nice.
And I did read, I think it was a writer from the AV Club did position that Prince should have directed a Batman movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's join that call.
Here's the noir thing going. Like, it would have worked, I reckon, you know?
Heck yeah.
Great soundtrack. It would have been fun. It would have been dark. Yeah. Hell yeah.
The Prince soundtrack the Batman soundtrack that Prince did do as well, I found out he wanted it to be all the Prince songs will be funk songs from the perspective of the Joker. And then he wanted to get Michael Jackson in to do ballads from the point of view of Batman.
Oh, man.
Which is amazing.
That would have been incredible. Like, as a double album, you've got the, like, funk Joker A-side. And then the B-side is all, like, dark, brooding ballads from Michael Jackson. Holy shit. That would have sold like gangbusters. My God. Incredible.
The world would live in now. Like, there wouldn't have been a Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie or a Jared Leto Joker, because they'll be like, no.
We can't top the, like, full Michael Jackson Prince team-up album. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Goddamn. But anyway, so he drives away where he, like, beckons Apollonia to, like, get on the bike and sort of save her from this horrible whatever Morris was planning situation. But takes her into an even worse situation because he sort of forces a kiss onto her first. And then, like, they argue, and we go into Any Color You Like for this. They're arguing and fighting, and he, like, pins her to the ground. It's not good, guys. Like, this is, like, probably worse than, I don't know. It's not good. It's like continuing the domestic violence. They've got domestic violence on one hand and date rape on the other. It's like, it's a terrible situation for a woman to be in. Holy shit. No good. But yeah, so she, like, manages to get away and throws his earring back onto the ground, saying, like, fuck you, the kid. And she runs away, and this is where we get the horrible scene. Sorry. Because the kid comes home, finds his house in disarray, evidence of a massive fight between his parents, and his father shoots himself here. This time for real. No
piano.
No pianos in sight.
Imagine if you'd got that scene wrong again, and then you suddenly realize that scene doesn't happen in the movie.
Oh no, that's my nightmare, dude. If I've, like, fucked up my notes that bad, and we just, like, the episode disappears into my never-ending escape of failure. Oh God, Jesus.
You're like,
no way.
I mean, obviously, if this was out the window, I'd be terrified. But if you started, like, describing just when you accidentally looked out the window and thought that was still the movie, like, and then a bunch of birds show up. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. That comes later. We get the birds. There's a song called The Birds. It's fine. See?
Oh no.
I got notes. The police and the EMTs, like, are pretty much immediately on the scene. For the sound over this, we just get, like, strange, like, discordant guitar chords in the movie over this like nightmare situation. But we're getting Any Color You Like, which is a very bad match. It does work in that there's no vocals for any of this on either side of the album. So on the Pink Floyd angle and also in the movie angle, like this is both instrumentals and like a vibe being put out there instead of like a song. But they are different vibes. So there's no sync really there other than that. We get like a really like artful shot of the kid being questioned by police, which is all inaudible. Like their mouths are moving, but they don't actually make any sound, I believe. Pretty cool. And they disappear, leaving the kid alone in this basement. He's just sitting there and keeps looking over. We go into brain damage for this, he keeps looking over to the chalk outline of his father on the ground. They've drawn chalk around the gun in his hand, which I don't think they usually do on chalk outlines, but I could be wrong.
Also, because spoiler is the dad survives, but they drew a whole chalk outline around him, which is not good, medical attention, guys.
No, it's not like a crime scene being taken place, which is when you usually do this, right? I don't know. Pretty bizarre. But anyway, he's reckoning with this and looking between that and the stairwell and this rope, and sees a vision of himself hanging from the ceiling, rope around his neck, sorry. Flies into a panic because he's seeing that as a potential future for himself, and just starts destroying the basement, knocking all these puppets and potions to the floor, destroying shelves and things. And as we get the chorus rolling in of brain damage, he is tearing through this chest, and only halfway through does he realize that this is all the music that his father wrote and had stashed away in this little chest. It's all sheet music that he's throwing around the room. And it sort of gives him pause because he sees his father's name written atop the sheet music. And then presumably, again, he just goes to sleep, because there's another really weird cut here where he's just waking up in a nest made from sheet music. Very strange. And he goes into the other room and puts on the demo that the girls gave him from his band and begins composing over it. We just hear him in the other room play this track over and over again, because we see him walk into another room, and we just get a shot of the hallway for a long while as we would be hearing this tape playing.
Yeah, I thought the movie had frozen.
It's fully intentional. Because he's trying to figure it out, and as he finds the what he wants to do with this material, we enter the room behind him as he starts to play at the piano. He's got a gun in his hand. No, he doesn't. We're getting him at the piano playing along with this this demo. Does fit with brain damage, because we're tailing out here, and we're getting the synth leads coming in for the tail end of that song before we get the bombastic final part for Eclipse. So that worked. He's just we see him back. I only put this together later, but he's actually backstage after this, just waiting for the time to go on stage and prove himself here. But we just see him sat contemplating in front of a mirror as we go into Eclipse, and we're back at the nightclub for this final performance sequence. Everyone is performing for their shot. All the house band potentials are all here, and Billy is up the back in the crowd watching on. And we see the time up there doing their thing, dancing with the mirror here, and they're playing the song The Bird, Gareth, which I'm not making up. That was real. These weren't birds that I saw outside the window, okay? Everyone's flapping like birds. It's a good time. It's an easy to dance to song. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Secretly, I've got my own brain damage into Eclipse going on. I'm manifest destining this into the movie. Just suffering from dementia slowly, and you're just humoring me, but no, it's not true.
Yeah,
it's all real.
There's no one at the other end of this Discord line.
Oh no, don't tell me that. This is not. This is not a good. This is a very dark part of the podcast.
It needs to be noted that we record this quite late at night, so it's very easy for us to trick each other that we're dreaming.
That we're losing our grip on reality, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the sunset years of this podcast are gonna be. Just us slowly like descending into madness, I think.
Oh no. Yeah, we're in
which
the
it
80s now.
I feel like it has been the whole time, honestly, but it's just been a slow burn up until now. We've only just noticed. But yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Oh no.
So yeah, we're getting the bird, grooving along to a good time as we go into the third and final play of the album, because basically I like to think that the times part is done for this movie, and they're saying like, all right, we're out now. Now we get the final play, which is what you want to hear. Like this is the real stuff from now on. And yeah, the backstage, the Revolution, the band are just all waiting in silence as we go into this third play as well. So we're just having heartbeats over just like shots of members of the band's faces rather. And yeah, that fits really well. I like that a lot. And then they finish up their song and we get into the screams of Breathe. And Morris is like wandering down the hall, like being backed by his band saying like, you're great, Morris, the Revolution, who like, I don't care. Just like having a great time. And Morris taunts the kid from the doorway, just says, how's the family? Which is fucked, man. Dude.
Yeah.
Low blow. Not cool, man. You've been a goofball up until now, but dude, oof, no good. But yeah, he doesn't even react to that, just keeps going. And then all his band members like wander off down the hall, but Morris stays in the hallway and sort of like nervously lights a cigarette. And I think this is sort of implying that he is still worried about like what is going to happen now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not like, I think it was all bravado for his band, and he doesn't really, it sort of leaves him in this like middling place. We aren't really sure what happens to Morris after this. I think we get one more shot of him later in the movie, but
yeah,
I would like it if we sort of left him here. I think that would be the cleanest end for Morris, where he's like just doubting himself in the moment, you know? I think that's a fitting end for the character. But anyway, the Revolution head to stage with middling applause, and they're just the kid is just looking out over stony faced punters here at the bar, and he's just like looking out over them, and he dedicates the song that he's about to perform to his father, and then says that it's a song that the girls in the band wrote, Lisa and Wendy. And then he launches into Purple Rain, which was the demo the whole time, in case you didn't realize. You can sort of pick it up. It's not really clear, like, when it's just the rhythm section that's what it is. But yeah, we get, like, a really great rendition of Purple Rain for this film. And it's, for us, we're in On the Run for the start of this performance of Purple Rain. And while this is, I feel it's tough because Purple Rain, I would say that On the Run isn't the Purple Rain of the album. It just isn't.
No.
Like, but I would say that it is a fitting track for this like incredibly tense moment, like make or break moment in the movie. Like, this is like a very high drama moment, and I think it fits well there. Like in terms of tone in that way. Like they aren't like, it's not the huge like triumphant single, but I don't know what would be. I guess Breathe. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Brain Damage, because it's the
Brain Damage,
title
actually.
track as well.
Yeah, that would work better. But so I'm pretty torn on this, like in terms of whether or not this is a sync. This is like the hardest I've debated, like where a song has been playing in a movie, I think, for the show.
Well, if it was any other kind of movie, like if this was a sports movie and this was the big game,
Yeah, right?
where the kid had to defeat Morris at like soccer,
It would
this
work.
would be perfect for it. Or if it was an action movie and they were fighting, this would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
It's just simply because it's a music movie and music is playing and we know it's a different song.
It's a concert performance of a completely different song that has its own like mystique and like aura to it.
Yeah.
And matching that, we have to consider, like, ignoring that would be to like it would be doing a disservice to both parts, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we have to see how those two match together effectively. And it's really tough. I really struggled because like the difference between it matching the movie and it matching the song is oceans apart. Yeah, I had to pause the movie and think about it for a long time.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess we have to ask this question: would this movie be a success if all the Prince music was the music from Dark Side of the Moon instead?
I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. It wouldn't work. I don't think it would have worked as the plot. Like I don't know. Even like the like lyrical content of Purple Rain doesn't really match the like theme of the movie. Like a lot of this album is like a fun sort of party album.
Yeah.
But like, and Purple Rain is this like amazing ballad, but it doesn't, it's not a great like fit in the same kind of way, but I don't know. It's really tough.
Yeah, because Dark Side of the Moon is about like, it's about losing control and it's actually about a band member who had to leave the band because of his personal life, which is a lot of what Purple Rain's about.
Yeah.
Purple Rain the movie, whereas it's almost, you'd almost want to give Purple Rain to something like The Fifth Element or something, which is like a sexy space movie, or like if there's a movie about sex and religion, that's more Purple Rain speed. But I don't know. This is some crunchy stuff we're butting against. But I'm reminded of Tommy by The Who, and then through that I'm reminded of this tale of the hedgehog and the fox, where the hedgehog knows one thing, but the fox knows many things. And I just love that. I still remember this quote. So like the fox side of it will say there's a lot of emotional things, but then the hedgehog side will say that they're different songs. So yeah, we're back in that situation, which we did clean out to a 5, but we're not quite at that point of this show. Although plot-wise, we pretty much are.
Yeah. So I feel like this is sort of like a halfway sync. It's tough. There's a lot going on, and I'm glad we like covered it off, because I'd say this is a huge part of the movie. Like so, but anyway. So yeah, we get a couple because we're on the run. We get the signpost sings here as well, which don't really match up majorly with any part of the song. We get sort of a transition to a chorus just after the crash sound happens, and the clocks come in signifiing a solo that's about to kick off. But nothing really close enough that I'd call it a sync. We do, over the ominous incoming chords of time, we get my favorite gif of all time coming in from this movie, which is the slow nod that Billy gives to this guitar solo that's wailing away. It's such a good thing. I send it to so many people because it just sums up. Yeah. It's a great shot of just Billy.
It's perfect. It's short nod. No, yeah, short, long nod, which I think is Morse code for EIT, if that helps anyone.
All right. Everyone is turned. I don't know. No,
everyone is turned by the music of Prince. You know, Billy is turned in this moment, turned towards Prince, the kid getting to play at his club for more times.
Yeah, it's true. I guess so.
Yeah. Everyone is turned.
There you go. But yeah, as the solo ends for this, like the solo and the performance at the end of the song, Pink Floyd also, like, they trade off on solo because we go into the time solo as soon as that one ends, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like they were handing it over because they start carrying it as the kid runs off stage at the end of this very emotionally draining performance and is sort of ready to like drive off into the distance, never to be seen again on his motorcycle because he runs all the way out of the club. And like sort of very upset, but hears in the background the crowd like applauding him and loving it, and he turns around to come back in and is like welcomed with open arms. Everyone's applauding, like flanking backstage. I don't know how everyone got here, but
yeah, it's so busy.
Yeah, and yes, Apollonia is also in here and like gives him a hug and a kiss and sends him back out there for an encore performance of the remainder of the album because there are a couple songs left, which is funny. And yeah, they get into I Would Die For You, which is like a more happy song, more fun.
One of my like easily top 5 Prince songs.
Wow. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Fair.
I love it.
Fair. I like it. And yeah, this is we get like sort of like I think what the editor was just throwing in like the wrapping up shots of this movie because we just get a few little extra sequences thrown in here just to wrap things up with no dialogue. We see the kid visiting his mother and father in hospital, both still alive, as you said. I think we did see that the father was alive when he was being tended to by the EMTs. But it was touch and go, obviously.
Prince wanted the father to pass away.
Yeah.
And like it to be darker, but I think they last minute were like, oh, nah. That's right.
He
He can
has to
survive.
live. Okay, fair enough. Weird choice, but whatever.
Yeah.
To have something so, like, not at all arbitrary decided for you by the studio, like, geez. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we get a shot of him sorting through his father's sheet music collection, which is strewn all over the basement still, and like him having a cry to himself as he puts it all like into neat little piles. And yeah, his eyes rest on the earring that Apollonia threw to the ground after that really awful sequence. And he like tosses it up into the air, and she is there on the stairwell, having like forgiven him, I guess. Again, I feel like this is not earned, but anyway.
No, not at all.
But yeah, they're back together, and they kiss. And yeah, we close out the rest of this encore performance with every like all the plot being wrapped up. We've just got like a full song now left to do. Yeah, because we just like cut back to this being like a full concert film. I keep forgetting that that's the case. Because
see, I'm the opposite. I forgot the plot and just remember the concert film.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, we go into Baby I'm a Star as the closer here. And it's kind of weird pacing-wise that we have no real plot left, but it's just like a fun sort of celebration at the end of the film. We also see like the characters rocking out in the crowd, enjoying the show. Like all the extraneous characters like Morris and Jerome are here, Billy's here, the club people are here, other members of other bands. Yeah. But yeah. And it's a fun performance bit because the kid is roaming all over the stage, like jumping up on top of amps and stealing people's hats and just he does a backwards stage dive at one point, which is insane, like a trust fall into the crowd, pretty nuts. And at the end, he picks up this like prop guitar and starts like spraying stuff out the end of the guitar onto the crowd. Not sure what to make of this. It's pretty clear what this is implying.
Yeah, and it's way too much information to be literally the second to last shot of this film. It's like, oh, he's got a guitar that's also a hose, and then it's like, no time, movie's over.
Nope, it's done, because we get the credits, which is just like Prince like turning and looking over his shoulder and then freeze framing as the credits roll over it, which is very funny.
Yeah.
He's just giving you a big old smile as the credits roll over. And we get like sort of a medley of the songs on the album play over the credits, but we get money tying up. And like I think we get like a few seconds of Great Gig before the movie ends. And there you go. What did you think? How did it sink, Gareth?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, you know, I'm reminded of a certain fox and a hedgehog, mate. It's but it is. We're in the same situation we were with Tommy, which is a film based on a different album. But whereas Tommy
fully intentionally.
Yeah. Tommy is entirely sung through, so there's no dialogue, which is usually, the idea of a soundtrack is to soundtrack dialogue. But also there's no concert footage, so you can kind of squint and imagine they're playing the same song. So we're pushed in both directions.
Yeah.
And I think where that pulls back is this might be another one kind of dead in a strange middle.
Yeah.
Maybe a low 5, or maybe, I don't know. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I was feeling like 4 on this. I think that Tommy was like edged out, and that it like had more of a plot going on, and that movie was designed for a story. It's closer to a movie. There's like the plot and the album in this movie are not as closely tied, and so there were sort of 3 competing elements, which was even harder than what we usually do. But at least the other 2 were joined together more with more care than what we usually do. But I would say it made for a harder sinking challenge here, where it was difficult to catch many things going on, especially since I basically had 0 with during a performance. I was like, I had that one where things were sort of in time with dancing, like right near the start with the time thing, the time thing. But other than that, not really anything going on. So, and then a couple extraneous plot syncs here and there. So I'm feeling 3 or 4, honestly.
I reckon it's either a 3 or it's an unpronounceable symbol.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. And it's just somewhere in the graph, it's moving, and you're like, what? How is that happening? But yeah.
It's a strange symbol that just slides between 3 and 5 constantly.
Yeah. And through the
Beautiful.
wrong axis as well. It starts going into other people's points on the graph, and you're like, what?
It sometimes shows up on a different graph. You're looking at your company's returns, and you see
someone else's
Pink
graph.
Floyd synced.
Just ruin someone's project.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. All good.
Perfect.
What are we doing next week, Gareth?
Oh.
Lay it on me.
Well, there's a sort of a final boss to this podcast, a villain who's emerged throughout the show. And it feels like we've been really training to face this guy, because what we've learned is with the actor Tom Hanks, who is by all accounts the nicest, most charming person, completely lovable. Whenever the music of Pink Floyd plays over one of his movies, he turns into a soulless, evil being. So I thought, what happens if we take a movie where they've done that work for us? They've somehow, through just a weird use of technology, turned Tom Hanks into a soulless, fake being already. And then we just got to chuck the Pink Floyd on and see maybe it goes the other way. Maybe we love him again.
Maybe.
So that's why we're going to be watching Robert Zemeckis' The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks, and more Tom Hanks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. More jingling of bells on the horizon then. That's exciting.
Oh, yes.
Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very exciting. We've got all the elements of a good show in the making there. I'm thrilled.
Your tone, just to bring it back to the jingling of bells, your
Sure.
tone is a lot like a mum who their son has opened a Christmas present that the mum's not that keen on and the kid's not that keen on, and you're just like, wow, cool.
No, dude,
what do you say?
I am for real excited. It is just that we have been recording for 2 hours, and I am like, I've already established that I am not sure if any of this is real. So it's sort of, it's difficult for me to give a true reaction. I'm trying my best.
Oh my god.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and we're watching Training Day or something. That's just what I thought you were going to launch into, but no.
Oh, yeah.
Man, okay, cool. I am excited, for real. Let's do it. Pink Floyd, get at us. Socials.
Yeah.
We've still got them.
Oh, yeah. And look forward to the Jeromes playing at a local community centre near you, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we can get together and find large enough mirrors.
These mirrors have to be pretty large.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're most of what's keeping this band together, you know?
Yeah. You and your mirror and me and my mirror ride in different tour buses.
Yeah, I hope so. That's in my rider.
Good. Well, until next time, listeners, I've been Gareth Blackler and my mirror.
I've been James Barron and my mirror. I'm Jerome number 2.
Ooh. And yeah, Pink Floyd pod, thanks for listening. And until
you.
next time, I only want to see you bathing in that purple rain.
In that purple rain, purple rain. Goodbye. See ya. I was a bit deep voiced for Prince, but
the man of a famous falsetto.
I don't have a falsetto anymore. It's gone. It's tragically lost. I'm a baritone bass boy. Now,
James Baritone.
I've been James Baritone.